Okay, so this is actually coming at the request of someone who is like, why haven't you done Lorax yet? I'm like, you've done Lorax? I mean, wasn't that like one
I
of
just
our
want to
first
tell
ones?
you, I'm already in a bad mood because the movie we just had to watch, well, it's Garfield 2 because you put it
I was going to say, it doesn't really...
Yeah,
It didn't put me as quiet enough. You know, from one orange piece of shit to another orange piece of shit.
Yeah, there's
a
similarity.
transition. I just can't believe we never talked about this before because I'm like, I almost remember doing it, but I'm looking through the searches and everything. I'm like, no, I guess not.
we probably did a commentary on it or something.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, no, even I was looking through, I just typed in Lorax and Channel Awesome, I didn't see it. So if this is a second go, you can compare them, but like, I didn't see it anywhere at all. So, yeah, I love talking about how Dr. Seuss is constantly being destroyed. And the sad thing is that the Lorax is actually like one of the better Dr. Seuss films. I mean, that's what's so sad about it. Horton Hears a Who is probably the best. Still not good, but, you know, the best.
That's the one I haven't seen.
It's not good, but compared to the other shit, it's like, you know... I won't do a review on it because it's not bad enough for that.
We'll take that thrilling endorsement and probably continue not to see it.
Yeah, it's not worth seeing. But yeah, compared to...
I'm sure people in the
Here's
comments say, how dare you, it's totally worth seeing. Don't listen to him, Rob!
Oh yeah, just like the Grinch and the Lorax both got a lot of anger when I said I was going to do them.
The Grinch is terrible.
So of course they're the most... No, Grinch is like the most loved out of the Seuss movies.
Oh, I don't care. It's still terrible.
I will never get. I do not understand
Some of these
in
people
the
were
slightest.
5 years old when they saw it.
That's kind of my thought.
We liked the Care Bears movie too when we were 5.
Yeah. No, all I ever have to do is show them the scene where Jim Carrey has the guy kiss a dog's butt, and they're like, yeah, kind of hard to defend it after that. I mean, there's tons of other shit. His face and the cleavage and stuff. And that's what started this whole bullshit. This whole Dr. Seuss should be PG. That's the biggest fuck you, by the way.
Yeah, it should be R.
Can the hat should be R.
That one should have been an R. That would have been a way better movie if that was an R-rated film.
I'm still not sure it wasn't.
Because that was one step removed from a horror movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Just as frightening. No, I think it's scarier than most horror films nowadays. So I'll say the good things about it. It's very pretty. It's a very nice looking film. Again, probably the best out of the Seuss films. Christ,
that's it.
Anything else? DeVito's not a bad choice for the Lorax. Totally different, but it's like I'll buy it.
Well, I'm trying to remember the rest of the voice casting. And I'm thinking about it may have been kind of
what was it like? Was it Zac Efron as the little boy? Which I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of the either grown men or boys that have clearly gone through puberty. He
said getting all the way through Gravity Falls and liking it.
No, but I had an issue with that too at first, but that grew on me.
I have more of an issue than you, and they crucified me for it. But I did like it by the end, but I'm not...
Yeah, no, it definitely grew on me. And,
I'm not over that like you are. You're over it now, apparently.
Okay, here's the thing, too, because with that character, that's a very kind of squirmy, I don't know. So that kind of cracking voice works a bit. With it, this is supposed to be the cool kid, this is the... And he doesn't talk for like the first minute of the film.
In this? I forget.
Yes. Betty White was a cool kid.
That's true. Betty White is the most badass thing in this.
I'll give it credit that just put Betty White in this. It didn't really do much with her, but she's in it, and that's always a plus.
Now, if this was just Betty White and Danny DeVito, like, running around, like, best episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes, oh my God.
I know, right?
Start a petition to get Betty White on Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Make it quick, because she's really getting up there now.
She's so cool, she beat 2016. She survived it. But yeah, just talk about another movie that's just like, we skimmed the book and then we're just like, fuck you. We're not going to go to the really dark place. We're not going to go to the adult places that, this kid's book actually took kids. We're not going to help them grow up. Don't worry.
The chart says kids don't want to be depressed.
Yeah, we're not going to help them grow up. So you have no fear of that. Bambi's mom lives.
The chart says you can get more sequels out of that.
Yes. Which I think we are getting a anime Grinch movie, which I won't lie, I'm open to it if they do it well. We have not seen a good Dr. Seuss movie yet. And this probably won't be it, but...
Wait. No, you're right. There has to be one.
No, there isn't.
There is not a single fucking one.
No, the closest is probably Horton, and it's not a good movie. And it bombed, too. The one that was...
Probably the best of them bombs.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one that tried the hardest to stick to the message, but even Horton Hears a Who is not my favorite of those books. I think it's a very overly complicated story for a simple kids book.
My favorite was The Grinch Crushes Hanukkah, but
or what was it? The Cat in the Hat meets the Grinch. That was weird. That was just like...
The Grinch Destroys Hanukkah sounds like one of those political cartoons he did back in like the 30s and 40s.
With Snafu.
Oh, God.
Pretty much, I mean, I do like... It sounds weird, but I like it when Dr. Seuss fails, because it does show, oh, he was human after all. The Batman line. And I do think that stuff like that, like, Cat in the Hat meets Grinch, and, or was it the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, or so? It's like, no, he can fail. He can very easily fail.
I prefer the 5,000 Fingers of Mr. T.
Now that would be a great movie. And it would kind of fit, honestly. I mean, that movie is so strange. It's like, yeah, no, sure, throw in Mr. T. It could totally work. I could almost see Mr. T in the Lorax, in the movie version of the Lorax.
Hey, what's going on, Lorax?
Stop coming down the trees! Drink your drugs.
I pay the food who doesn't respect nature. Do your drugs. Drink your school.
Oh, God, I love those.
Stay in milk.
The rest is all going to be talking about Mr. T. But yes, pretty much, this is another attempt to try and make it more cool and with the hip kids instead. We're gonna have song numbers and fourth wall jokes and, the old guy doesn't get the young kid, and hipster Onceler. God damn it. Oh, that pissed me off. That's what pisses me off about this movie, is that it is destroying its message by trying to add more to it, and it really is a less is more situation.
It just seemed like a really cheap-ass attempt to try to appeal to the millennial crowd.
Mm-hmm. Apparently it worked. Onceler Secrets was a thing.
The chart says millennials all dress and look like this and sound like this. Yeah. Let's do it.
It is definitely a chart movie. I wonder if that's a term. That should be a term. Chart movie.
There's always like the Ghostbusters reboot. Like,
yeah,
that to me is the chart movie. Yeah, a classic chart movie. Whereas like this was all dictated by what the charts at the studio
probably
said.
The Gem movie.
Oh, that's a total chart
Actually,
movie.
a movie where we have the chart guys, it's usually a chart movie.
Yeah, that's why we use the chart
that's why we use them. And to me, it's like, it pisses me off because it looks very nice. Like, I could see a Lorax movie being done in this visual world. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
The film looked good. That was the one thing.
Gorgeous.
The one thing I liked about the movie was I was like, well, they nailed the look of it.
And it looked, for the most part, fitting, except when they had to have, like, the millennial kid or, like, the town that's all balloony with the commentary.
So at least it wasn't an ugly movie to look at.
No, it was
which
really
is why the first few minutes of it I actually liked. I'm like, okay, maybe this will actually be good. And then it was just all downhill.
I don't know. As soon as you see the song sequence and they're like, what was it called, Balloonville or something? It's a brand new dawn. And they're doing like the over the top Muppet song sequence.
Maybe,
I'm like, no, that's
maybe
not
some of us drank that away. Okay.
And then the Captain Planet villain, and because humanity's not ourselves are not the villain. Don't worry, kids. You're not.
You're not to blame.
To you. So it's just the
your
evil
straw man is to blame.
Yeah. So don't worry about that. Onceler is not the bad guy either. Hell, maybe this idea that there were no bad guys, it was just kind of human nature and keeping it in check. No, there's a bad guy. It's okay. Blame him.
When you put it like that, it sounds pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, it does. It does, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. God! It's funny because I'm thinking about it.
You know what?
I think of the visual style, so I'm like, maybe it wasn't that bad, because then I think of the Grinch and Cat in the Hat. I'm like, maybe it's not that bad. But then I think about what it does to that story, and it's just like, fuck you!
I had kind of forgotten about this. Because now the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm getting pissed off.
Yeah, no,
because I guess I just kind of like just forgot about it, like, and was just, but yeah, like, because I'm just like, I don't think it was. I remember being bad, but I'm like, I've seen worse. But every single time you open your mouth now I'm just like, my blood's boiling.
It's a very good deceiver, and I think the reason for that is because Grinch looked ugly. Cat in the Hat looked ugly. Lorax looks nice. Sounds nice, you know, like, you know, sort of the songs and the music and stuff. It tries to catch sort of that grand feel, and you gotta give it a little bit of credit for that and it worked because it was a big hit, and people were like, yeah, the trees, yeah, and then immediately forgot about it because they went and bought a car that the Lorax said go buy.
I remember all the commercials tied into that, and I'm like, wait a second. What? Like,
yeah, no, I mean, those tie-ins, like, everybody's, you know, made jokes about that, so we didn't focus too much on it, because I think everyone sort of did that route. But we did address it.
That's the whole problem with and by trying to focus so much on the charts, and just having appeal to millennials, you know what it reminded me of? That Stephen Colbert talked about this once, but those Campbell's...
The soup?
Yeah, the stupid soup that they were doing to try to appeal to millennials, and it came in these little, like, giant Capri Sun bags or whatever, like, stick a giant straw and be like, "Rrr," and it's just, it was so fucking lame, and it's like, not your mama's madras, and like, all of this, like as Colbert says, like, look at this guy, he's like, what up, soup? It's like, that's what this whole fucking movie reminded me of.
Trying to spread the message of a generation of soup.
The revolution, that was,
Yeah.
It was one of the best Colbert, on the old Colbert show, one of the best routines he ever did, the revolutionary spirit of soup.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Look at it, maybe it's on YouTube, I don't know, but it's very, very funny. It just replaced that with Lorax.
Our generation is still in, because they're trying to appeal to the 80s nostalgia now, but eventually we will be out. But that was the first time where it was just like...
It's starting to fade out, they're going more to 90s now.
I'm just starting... That was one of those things where I'm just like, oh god, this poor generation below us, like, trying to appeal. Like, it's so embarrassing, like, appealing to the college kids and the...
But, I mean, we had that, too. We had, like, Fern Gully.
Oh, no. I'm not saying we didn't have that, but
like, now it's your turn.
Yeah, now we're grown up, and now we have to watch it happen to the millennial generation below us. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
like, I'm so sorry for you guys. Like, fight the power or something, because and they did the same shit with us, and we were only cognizant of it in the 90s is when I noticed it, whenever it became extreme, and then as we grew up, we were just like, this is fucking lame. And
I think Power Rangers is when I woke up to it. I'm like, I'm feeling very manipulated, and I don't like, these kids are not talking like how real kids.
Yeah, but
so
I'm feeling the new movie's gonna save it, man. It looks amazing.
Yeah, those outsiders that are, you know, all gorgeous,
hey,
but they don't fit in.
This is some serious shit. Power Rangers is gonna change everything.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of looks like fun to me. I'm not looking forward to it, but it's kind of like, this might be kind of cool.
Side quest, Link. Is this what you all want, you Power Rangers? I was never a fan, so I was too old for it. Is this what you want?
It's the dark gritty thing.
The dark gritty thing? because like, from what I saw of Power Rangers, it was goofy, it was all the Japanese footage mixed with this, like, Saved by the Bell kind of... This what you're looking for? Like, you want a really dark and gritty Power... I'm just curious, with star power, like some A-list stars in it, and I'm just curious. Feel free to answer in the comments. I don't have an opinion, because I don't watch Power...
I do have no idea.
I'm just very, like, interested. Is that what you were looking for out of this?
Since I never liked the original, I'm just sort of like, I was like, I'll take something different. But I'm not saying that's what the fans want. I have no idea.
I have no opinion. I just looked at it, though, and I'm just like, well, that's not really Power Rangers, is it?
That does tie in a little bit, again, to kind of like the theme and ideas of an adaptation. Because, again, when we thought of the Lorax, we're just like, oh yeah, it's not good, but whatever. And then the more and more we thought about it, I was like, yeah, that's really bad. And again, I think it's because it did capture sort of that look to it, and that very colorful, bright, instead of the dark, grainy, like with Grinch and
everybody always says the same thing. It's like, it
had a good message.
Message. much.
Yeah, and it was
How
definitely...
can you be so mean to something that just wants to spread a good message? Because when you spread a good message horribly, you do more damage to the message than just being a dick.
You know, and
I'm sorry,
I think that's
like,
the thing too. No,
bullshit like this or Fern Gully, it's like, you actually damage your argument. Way more.
When I think you said with the message is that this movie actually is aware of its message and tries to hammer it into you constantly, which again, the other ones do not do. Grinch isn't about Christmas until the very end, and Cat in the Hat is not about, you know, just give into a little anarchy here, that really until the end. You know, even then you could argue it's not really. But, you know, this one, throughout the whole thing, you open up in Balloon Town, it's like, we're gonna stick to the message constantly, but we're gonna do it terribly. And we're gonna do it in the obvious ways that are not challenging, not interesting, and completely remove the responsibility that this can happen to you, and instead makes it bad guys. There, not you, there. And
when you
so
throw out
insulting.
an environmental message really well, it makes you want to, you know, save the trees. When you do it really poorly, it makes you want to go outside right now and chop a fucking tree down.
Yeah.
And, you know, club a few baby seals.
You know...
It just, like, I'm sorry. It just does. It just is annoying.
You know, and
It's like
so...
listening to Lisa Simpson for an hour.
Yeah,
And just by the end of it, you just
exactly.
want to slap her in the face. Be like, shut up!
Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's like listening to like Michael Moore or Rush Limbaugh or Bill Maher, these people. It's like, even if like
The echo chamber.
if they say something I legitimately agree with, it's like, I want to agree, but you are so obnoxious and so one-sided, and so this is my thing, there are no other options, I am right, and if you don't accept it, you're wrong. Something I just immediately want to go do the opposite, even if I agree with you.
And now we have Trump.
Yeah.
So who else?
You can't act
Who
like
else
that
are
didn't
we
play
missing?
a part.
Who did we offend everybody?
Yeah, I think we got everyone.
Everyone?
No, but okay, but we always talk about the, you know, how they do it bad and stuff like that. And I don't know why this is always the example I go to when it's done well, and it's such a strange example. But the Sonic the Hedgehog Sad AM one,
Satam.
Yeah, Satam. I really see that as a good pro-environmental show.
It is.
Because
It is.
It's
'Cause
so
you're not-
subtle. And
Another, I think it's less subtle, but I like all the Miyazaki
I
stuff.
was gonna say, or Lord of the Rings is a little hammer on the head, but with literally the trees coming to life and stuff. But, I mean,
that was fucking awesome.
yeah, it's legitimately cool.
should know better.
Even if you said they weren't trees, they were something else, it would still be cool. You know, so I think that's it. You have to tell a good story that's awesome, and you want to go, yeah! And if it has that, if it ties into that message, great, that makes them want to be on the cool person's side, you know, and it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like a Captain Planet or a Lorax thing where they're looking at the chart, what's cool, what's cool? No, don't look up what's cool, just be what naturally feels awesome to you, you know, and tie that into your message.
I think part of it, too, is, I know with Tolkien, and it's definitely clear with Miyazaki, they just naturally feel that way about, you know, humanity and life in
authentic.
general. Captain Planet was more like, you know, or some of these other ones is like, oh, we must instruct kids. The goal is to make them environmental. And I'm like, but do you have any real... Is this just some sort of like little educational project where you're just like, no, we will just lecture you on this? Or do you naturally feel this way and this just comes out naturally in the story as you're telling it?
Well, and something like comparing, again, a little weird going this route, but like with Tolkien and Miyazaki, Tolkien was pretty clear about what, you know, trees and swords and the old ways, great, wheels and turning and machines, you know, not good. What I like about Miyazaki...
Divine Rights of Kings, awesome.
Yeah. What I like about Miyazaki is that he clearly does love nature, but he clearly loves gears and machines and how do they work and how do they function and things working off each other and ingenuity. But you can tell they're... Oh,
well, in his films, it's about the balance.
exactly, and that's why Mononoke, you know, was seen as like this great groundbreaking film because it's not just picking a side. It's saying, look, we need both. Somehow there has to be that in between.
Like one set of stories comes naturally out of their worldview, and the other is simply trying to create a worldview.
That's a good way of
from
putting
scratch.
it. Yeah.
And that's what, you know, like Fern Gully and all of these sort of things are doing. versus, Miyazaki or Tolkien, where that just was their worldview to begin with, and it just came out naturally in their story. They weren't trying to, well, I'm going to force it down, spread a message, and it's just like, no, it just felt that way.
I say, especially when Miyazaki, it's like, look at this cool world. I just want to give you this cool world because it's a cool world, and it mixes environment and technology together in a way that kind of makes sense. Or sometimes one goes overboard or whatever, and isn't that interesting? Where you're right with like Captain Planet or something like that. It's like, this is how the world should be, but it's not making it a cool world that we want to be in. It's trying to really push this agenda.
No. I never could get through like more than 15 minutes of any Captain Planet episode.
It feels more like
it just wasn't very even interesting looking.
Yeah.
Like it just, yeah.
It was there was literally nothing else. And we had fun making fun of it, though. We did give it some good jokes. We always made fun of Mattia when we watched it. But yeah, so I feel like if there was something that felt a little bit more organic, authentic, genuine, we would feel that way about it too. But when you feel that message constantly being hammered, you're always going to be made aware of it. And you don't want to feel like a kid that's being talked down to. You want to feel like someone is trying to entertain you and you're having fun during. You don't want to feel like
that's the thing.
You're getting a lesson.
Filmmaking is like the Wizard of Oz. You never want to see the man behind the curtain. And if you feel you're being manipulated, you're seeing the man behind the curtain.
I think that's why,
you should never have that happen.
I think that's why comedians, with any kind of message, they say you want to get the real news or real change, listen to the jester. And I think that's because they're trying to entertain you. They are trying to make you laugh first, and there's also a message in there. Now, both tie into each other, but they put the message first, and then maybe they try to make you laugh. It's like, nah, that doesn't work as well. Because, like you said, you feel like you're being manipulated. You feel like you're being talked down to. People don't want to feel like they're being talked down to. They want to feel like they're being entertained. They're having fun. I like this guy. I'm having fun with him.
They want an experience, not school.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, but that's why stuff like, Sesame Street and a lot of these other shows can be so great because they do tie them together and they make it fun.
Except for Elmo. Fuck that guy.
No, and Elmo's really annoying. But yeah, I think that's always kind of the thing. If you can really make it legitimately entertaining and not like, oh, we're trying to trick you. If it's fun for you and it's fun to make, it's probably going to be fun for the person watching it too. Not always, but I think that's
there have been passion projects that haven't worked out.
No, plenty. But
you want the most depressing thing you ever listen to? Listen to the commentary for the movie Lost in Space.
Yeah.
He's
That's
so
very
like,
fascinating.
just want to make this great movie about like fathers and their sons and the connection they should have and the way they're torn apart. And I'm just like, dude, that's all noble, but this movie sucks.
Yeah. Well, even Lucas with like the prequels and stuff, hearing him talk about what they're supposed to be, it's like, it's pretty interesting. His talks about mythology, I think, are very interesting, honestly.
I'm not. When it comes to the prequels, I'm not as much convinced.
No. But
he has to
hearing
say
him
things
talk
like
about them.
Count Dooku.
Okay, but that's what I mean.
Jar Jar is the key.
Yeah, but that's
no.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe the originals. Maybe the originals.
No, but hearing him talk about his ideas, like, okay, if you were to sit down and say, don't talk about Star Wars at all, he's a really interesting, cool guy. Like, he's really fascinating to listen to. And definitely stuff that you sort of take his food for thought whether you agree with it or not.
Don't direct Star Wars at all. We'll just listen to you talk.
Or Howard the Duck or any of that stuff. Just kind of movies. Keep that out and just talk about life.
It's the key.
But Walter does an incredible George Lucas.
I know, we can't compete with him.
Yeah, it's not even like, it's not like you close your eyes and know he's in the room or anything, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's so entertaining. Yeah. It's really fun. We use it in something. You know what I feel like? I feel like even though there's a lot of passion projects that do not work out and sometimes they get a little too much leeway and we see plenty of writers, I feel that's a better place to start. You have to start with a place that you relate to and you can bring that passion to, rather than, hey, here's our agenda, do that somehow.
There is a huge difference, and I will say this. When you come from that place of passion, at least when they're bad, they're like batshit bad.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is fascinatingly bad. Like, at least I won't forget this.
Yeah.
How many chart movies are there with no passion where you're just like, you saw it and you like the Ghostbusters, the new one. Like, that springs to mind. Where it's like, you've left the theater and you've forgotten it. Or the Alice in Wonderland Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
There's all of these movies where it's just like, you just leave the theater, it's like, I don't even remember what I just saw. I just forgot it instantly.
When even Burton, I mean, his passion is often in how it looks. Like, there are some movies where, he will talk about the passion of the project, but like Planet of the Apes, I mean, all he talked about the way they move and the way they look. But that was his passion. He didn't care about the rest. I think he would even admit that, but that is one of the things he's very passionate about, how something
Can you just give me
looks.
one declare martial law?
Declare martial law.
There we go.
So that was the most fun to do in that review. So I think that passion has to shine through. I think that's a much better place to start than, okay, we want to do this agenda. How do we do it?
All right, then.
Or at the very least, you have to have a passion for that agenda, if that makes sense.
And now that we've told you the secrets, it's your happy little movie, and you can make your happy little movie however you want.
Our happy little film right here, our happy little Lorax, happy little millennials. No, get rid of that. Happy little bad guys. No, get rid of that.
There's no such thing as a mistake, just happy little accidents. I made happy little accidents with a number of people that are buried underneath.
That's Yeah, that's
just get your axe and have a happy little accident.
Actually, the funny thing, if he wasn't a painter, like you said, that man has killed like 50 people. Wouldn't you kind of be like, I can almost kind of see that?
I'm not convinced he hasn't. He was a military man, apparently.
And see, that doesn't surprise
Apparently,
me.
he was the drill instructor guy that apparently would shout at you.
No.
I'm fucking serious. Can you imagine Bob Ross?
You will paint happy little clouds.
The only two kinds from Texas are steers and queers. Out Indiana's how you born. Like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine?
No, I'll do it the other way. It's like, all you people from Texas are steers and queers. Now, which are you? Are you a happy little steer?
Let's paint some happy little antlers. Seriously. And he said if he ever got out of the military, he hated doing that so much that he would never scream again. Bingo.
Fascinating. That is so fascinating. Well, there, the more you know. I think we're about done. I think that's anything else to talk about with this?
No, the Lorax was a happy little accident. No, it was an unhappy little accident. Mm-hmm. I would call it a mistake.
Yes. Definitely more well-intended than, say... I shouldn't say well-intended, because you don't know, but it felt more well-intended than, say, Cat in the Hat or Grinch, but... still really, really sucked. Yeah. Looked nice, I'll give it that, but it sucked. So, that's about it. Go paint some happy little clouds.
Have a happy little accident.
Ew.